Welcome to day 11 of our 30-day series. Today we venture into the dark world of horror movies, watching with the lights off. There's something about watching horror movies in complete darkness, isn't there? The sensation of being surrounded by shadows where anything could be lurking just out of sight. The room feels smaller, the sounds more sinister. Your mind, your senses, they begin to play tricks on you. What is it about this experience that makes it so terrifying? Horror movies are designed to trigger the most primal fears in our psyche. They manipulate darkness, silence, and sudden sounds to send chills down our spine. Our minds are wired to be hyper-aware of danger in the dark. Evolution has taught us that the unknown holds threats, and horror movies exploit that instinct. Think about it. That creepy basement scene, the slow creaking door, the dimly lit hallway. In these moments, the filmmakers know exactly what you're thinking. What's out there? What's going to happen next? When you watch in the dark, your brain fills in the gaps left by shadows, distorting reality and creating fear where there may be none. You're not just watching a movie, you're a part of it. When the lights are off, the atmosphere becomes just as important as the movie itself. You hear every creak, every rustle of the wind, every subtle movement. Even the softest sound can seem amplified in the silence. The boundary between fiction and reality begins to blur. And isn't that what makes horror movies so effective? They toy with your perception, making you question what's real and what isn't. Light, or rather, the absence of it, plays a crucial role in the horror genre. Without light, the unknown becomes a vast, open threat. Directors often use darkness to obscure monsters or villains, allowing your imagination to run wild. What you can't see is often more frightening than what you can. And when they finally reveal the threat, it's usually in a sudden, jarring way. A burst of light, a quick movement, a loud noise. It's that shock, the sudden reveal, that gets your heart racing. You've been anticipating it the entire time, but it still takes you by surprise. In the darkness, every corner of the room seems alive with possibilities, and that's why watching a horror movie with the lights off intensifies the experience. The scares linger long after the scene ends. Now, let's talk about some of the most iconic horror films that thrive in this lights-off environment. There's a reason certain films are best watched in the dark, alone, with the volume turned up. The Exorcist is often called the scariest movie of all time, and for good reason. The dark, oppressive atmosphere paired with unsettling religious themes makes it a film you'd never watch with the lights on, unless you want to miss out on the full impact. In The Shining, the isolation of the Overlook Hotel and the eerie sound design immerse you into Jack Torrance's slow descent into madness. The shadows in the halls, the empty rooms, and the endless corridors create a sense of dread that's impossible to escape when the lights are out. Hereditary is a more recent movie, but its mastery of subtle, creeping horror makes it a perfect candidate for a lights-off viewing. Ari Aster doesn't rely on cheap jump scares. He lets the tension build in the darkness until it becomes unbearable. Every horror movie fan has their own favorite films to watch in the dark. But remember, it's not just about the scares on screen. It's about what happens in your mind, in the silence, in the shadows around you. But why do we do this to ourselves? Why, after that first terrifying jump scare, do we continue to watch? It's simple, the thrill. Fear releases adrenaline, heightens our senses, and forces us into fight or flight mode. It's a safe way to experience danger, and for some, it's addictive. Watching with the lights off enhances that feeling. It makes the fear more real, the threat more personal. It's like walking through a haunted house, except you never know when the next scare will come. So, are you ready? Tonight, grab your favorite horror film, turn off the lights, and let yourself be consumed by the fear. Thank you for joining me for day 11 of our 30-day series. If you're brave enough, comment below with your favorite horror film to watch in the dark. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. See you tomorrow, if you dare.